This is Bishop Dr. Truman Burst. Master Herbalist, coming to you from Good Shepherd Ministries.
They're in cahoots with the court. So the legal system it is absolutely illegal and insane, and it's all biased towards the court. And of course, when you're talking about the government, then the courts are biased and the attorneys are biased for the FDA because they're the federal government. They got guns and badges. They're a bunch of criminals. But as a matter of fact, what it is, it's a criminal extortion racket. Because when they called me up on the telephone, they said from Washington, D.C., this Josh Burg, this attorney from Washington, D.C., called me up and said, you have to sign a false confession that your herbs are drugs because we consider them drugs. And if you'll sign that, then we won't bother you anymore.
Let me just stop it. They consider it drugs. Excuse me.
Yes.
A plant is a drug that is just grown in the backyard, like thyme, sage,
sure, apples, oranges, bananas. If I give you an apple, Jason, and I say this apple is good for your stomach, that apple, according to them, is a drug. Also, they have stated
why is it drug?
Because they say so. You see, they have this Alice in Wonderland approach to health food. Things aren't what they are; they are what the FDA says they are, and they don't like health food because it's competing with pharmaceutical drugs. And their job is to protect the pharmaceutical drugs and destroy health food. Matter of fact, making all food, as far as they're concerned, all food is a drug, and drugs are food. They're upside down and backwards, and that's the way they go. And then they have their guns and their badges and all of their authority, and then they tell you that they're going to come into your place and they're going to charge you $75 an hour. For 6 or 7 agents to come in there, and you got to pay for their, you got to pay them $75 an hour. You got to pay for their airplane fare. You got to pay for their hotel, motel, their food. You got to pay everything. By the time these guys leave,
It doesn't come out of. It comes out of our own. Out of our own pocket. I mean, the Americans have already paid for it. I mean, why must they do us twice? Crazy.
yeah, it's insane, and everything that. But this is a diabolical, scenario, and this is what they do. This is what they've done. They've done it for 70 years, and now they've got more power. And of course, they got idiots like Obama in there that's just as corrupt and evil as they are, and is spurring these people on and making sure that the FDA gets plenty of money because so that these politicians get their kickback.
Wow. Yeah, and the real thing is despite what they are doing, because they are all conspiring for the profits of their business cohorts, that could feel conspiracy and the conspirators are also using mail fraud. I mean, this goes down a list of really violations that they do in our name.
Yeah.
Remember, without our consent, they are nothing. If you don't give them consent, then we have the right to. Well, you don't have a right, you only have a privilege because you're a non-person, you're an entity.
Yeah, and Rand Paul goes on, to talk about, he says here, now some of you might be surprised that the FDA is armed. Well, you shouldn't be. We have nearly 40 federal agencies that are armed. And worse, Obama is militarizing our police forces, our civil servants. Everybody gets to carry a gun these days if you're part of the government. But you know, I'm not against having police. I'm not against the Army, the military, the FBI. But Rand Paul says, but I think bureaucrats don't need to be carrying weapons, and I think what we ought to do is, if there is a need for an armed policeman to be there, the FBI, who are trained to do this, should do it. But I don't think it's a good idea to be arming bureaucrats to go on the farm to with arms to stop people from selling milk from a cow. And he goes on to say,
I was looking at something. The reason why they don't want whole unpasteurized milk, because again, these farmers, these industrial farmers, are committed to use antibiotics and hormones in their cows, which goes into our body and actually causes us harm. And then the real or the non-pasteurized milk companies are saying we have non-hormonal milk. Actually, it should be what's the word I like to play around? Homicidal food. That new program, homicidal food. What do you mean by that? Well, you eat the food children.
wow. You know, and he goes on here to say that he thinks that we have too many armed federal agencies and that we need to put an end to this. Criminal law seems to be increasingly is using a tool of our government bureaucracy to punish and control honest businessmen for simply attempting to make a living. Now, historically, the criminal law was intended to punish only the most horrible offenses that everyone agreed were inherently wrong or evil. You know, offenses like rape, murder, and theft, and arson. But now we have basically federalized thousands of activities and called them crimes. If bureaucrats need to involve the police, let's have them use the FBI. But Rand Paul says, I see no reason to have an FDA carrying weapons. Today, the criminal law is used to punish behaviors such as even fishing without a permit, packaging a product incorrectly, or shipping something with an improper label. Simply said, the federal government has gone too far.
Labels, all right? In labels, they don't want us to label that the food have like the organic GMOs.
Yeah.
And people say, oh, people don't want to still know how to read it. Usually, if it is sweet, it said it needs to be read properly. And they're not. And that is a big crunch here, to say the least.
Yes. Well, my friend, we're getting short on time here. Perhaps I should give my email address, my telephone number, in case people would like to contact me. I still help people at no charge. I give free health consultations. And I'm a graduate ethnobotanist, phytotherapist, master herbalist, chartered herbalist, and master herbologist, and I help people at no charge. If you'd like to contact me, my telephone number is 503-362-5899. That's 503-362-5899. My email is Truman, Truman, at healthherbs.com. Truman at healthherbs.com. And I will help you with information. I don't prescribe, I don't diagnose, but I will give you honest, truthful information about natural remedies that will amaze you and help you.
And we'll be going, if you would like, you can come back in the next hour if you wish. To give you a sense of the outspray now we're being wiped out. Welcome to. It's what's going on. We got another 4 minutes before we go on to our break, and that's very important. And with that, well, everything that we're trying to do, like in the I call the We the People movement, and that's basically what we're trying to do is bring back the Republic back from the corporate greed program of injection. I mean, it's disheartening. Here we live in Burg, the home of the land, the brave and free, only to be bullied and made chattel for the corporation and to serve us, to serve us. I mean, if you had in your 14,000 herbal mixtures, how many of them were for cancer?
I have a number of different formulations, but I have one very specific formula, and I started out calling it can-free because I knew I couldn't say cancer. That would, just make them nuts. But they said, oh, you can't say can-free on this formulation that has multiple herbs in it. And I don't claim any cures. God does the curing. I'm just an herbalist. And so I just offer you historical, traditional, natural remedies. And I've done the research, and I created a wonderful formulation that people tell me that they don't have cancer anymore. I mean serious cancers. Like, go ahead.
Well, it's like, the whole thing, the Uncle Slime can't hold back people's, what's the word? People's testimony. Because again, testimonies are the factor of truth. And Uncle Slime can't hide away the truth when it comes to that stuff like that. But again, I myself, I'm an Eastern distributor and user since 2011. And in the years that I've taken it, I don't look 61. I'm much healthier. And I confess that I wish I had this new skin product, like a Life Pack Nano, back when I had my first, my last cancer, which was prostate cancer. It was brought up because of the stress level I was in the public schools in Newark, and the frustration. And had I had that, my cancer and my prostate was a 4.2, then it went to a 9.3, and that was way too high. And most people have a choice either see, in fact, they do go and do a removal. And I had people in my life, my two best friends, one died from breast cancer, and she was all natural, never smoked a day in her life, and of course living in New Jersey. My fraternity brother died from a prostate cancer, which got too late, spread and metastasized to his entire body.
I understand.
And, excuse me?
I say yes. I'm understanding what you're saying. Jason. I have people calling me up. A fellow called me up and he said my office worker friend has come down and with cancer, stage 3 uterine cancer, and she's got 3 weeks to live. And I said, well, I have an herbal formula that may be helpful, and it's called, because we named it that can-free, we named it CF. And then the FDA sent us a warning letter saying you can't say CF, Charlie Frank. You can't say that. So whatever and I've changed the names, the stock numbers and everything about 6 or 8 times now over the years, and then people can't figure out what it is that they want, because whatever they've been getting has got a new name, a new number, and so forth. But anyway, finally this guy called me back 2 months later, and I said, well, what happened to this lady? He said, oh, she went back to work. She doesn't have cancer anymore. Stage 3 uterine cancer. It cleared up. Oh, and he said, by the way, she had diabetes, but that cleared up too.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I have another fellow that had pancreatic cancer.
I know you make a formula is proportional to the amount for each pill. So what was the ingredient? How you permit to take the ingredients are on there without being attacked by the Europe?
Yeah, see, so the ingredients that are in that CF formula are cat's claw, una de gato. It has violet leaves. It has shiitake, maitake, and reishi mushrooms in it. It has periwinkle. It has an herb from India called Baharingaraja. It has mistletoe. It has a complete immune system herbal formulation in this formula. It also has the Truman's Essiac formula in this formula, and it has soursop or graviola. And it just simply is an absolutely amazing formulation. Generally, people are calling me back, and they're telling me, well, the first week my cancer's gone by 25%. And then I went back to my doctor a second week. They say it's gone by 50%. And then they go back the third week, and they can't find it. They can't find the cancer. This is what a fellow told me who had pancreatic cancer, and so they sent all the data off to the University of Davis, California, and they kept that